Well, Travels with Dottie here. Welcome to today's adventure, so to speak. It's September 30th, 2025, and this is the maiden voyage of my iPhone 17 Pro Max with the dual view, front and back camera simultaneously. Now, those of you who've been with me for a while, you know I had a similar thing where I had software that would do this on prior versions, but I think this is going to be a little bit higher quality, easier to use. I don't have to worry about that that software that wasn't always very reliable. But so today's adventure is, I hesitate to pull this thing out of my pocket to show you, only because with my luck I'll drop it. I got to make sure it's in there though. It's got to be in there somewhere. There it is. Okay, this is wrapped in Scotch tape. It's a screw, and I need to get this exact screw, at least a couple. I want to get a couple of them for backup. Why? Well, if you're familiar with RVs, to empty your gray tank and your black tank, there's plastic handles that you pull, and this little screw was lost from one of the plastic handles, and you got to have it or you can't pull the handle. So I'm going to go to the hardware store and have the adventure of trying to find this exact size screw, and I really don't know whether it's actual I can do it or not. This is a local hardware store. If that doesn't work, I'll probably have to drive all the way to Carlsbad to Lowe's and see if Lowe's has it, which would kind of, well, it's okay. I got time. I can handle it. And then I've got a very short list of items in the grocery store, very short list. Dottie is with me. You can't see her, I don't think. No, you can't see her. She's over there. It's not quite the wide angle that I would prefer, but so this is recording high definition 4K. Let me know how you like this little format. I can shift the little box of me anywhere, but it seems to be probably the most appropriate in the lower right hand corner. That's where I'm most comfortable with it, I guess. It's been an interesting few days with my YouTube videos. The last one was all about, hey, if you're thinking about it, you can do this. You can retire. And I gave all the reasons why it could be a really good idea for many, many people. And I got lots of great comments and great stories from people. I was kind of impressed. It was nice to hear people's stories and how they're doing it. And the video before that was, I do get lots of questions. How did you find your place where your home base is? How do you do that? So I decided to go into a little bit more detail on how to find RV spots. There's RV spots you can buy. There's RV spots you can lease. Any one of them, even the ones you can lease, you could decide, okay, I'm going to just lease it year round and make that my home base, which is totally fine. And hopefully you'd have an arrangement where there's a low monthly lease and then electricity is on top of that. So when you're not there, you're not paying electricity, so it's a much lower cost. Or you can buy a spot. There's lots of options. And I mentioned that I think the best way of finding spots is Facebook groups. There are Facebook groups that specialize in the sale of RV spots. And then they're in every community. If you're interested in a particular small community, mostly everyone that I've ever been involved with has at least one Facebook group page where you can go and post and ask questions. I notice in Artesia, there certainly not as many. I don't see them for sale, but I see RV spots like on private property that property owners are leasing. So lots of those, and they're just lots of ways to skin the cat. I talked about a community in Arizona that does like 99-year leases, where that just means you give a lump sum up front and you have it for 99 years. And most of us don't worry about where we're going to be in 99 years, right? So that's, if I recall right, we're talking $10,000-$15,000, something like that for a spot. And then all the way up to the luxury resorts that sell their RV slots for $50,000, $100,000, $200,000. It all depends on what you want, how much money you have. But the requests I got were, could you do another one? Just don't talk to us about the high cost ones. I got a couple comments like that. But keep in mind, there are people out there that maybe they sell their sticks and bricks and they have a little bit of a windfall. They got to come $200,000 after selling, and they want to put it into something in a nice RV spot. Might be the thing to do. Now, the thing that I did mention, there's spots that you can buy that when you're not there, you can lease them out, like on a nightly or monthly basis, so you can offset some of that cost. So I just found the topic, once I started digging into it, pretty interesting. I really recommend, if you haven't gotten into it, that I know there's all sorts of scare things in the media about artificial intelligence. You've all probably heard of this ChatGPT, and there's a free version. I think they limit the number of inquiries you can have per day. That's fine, usually for most people. But you can ask it questions, and you can say things like, I'm interested in buying a place to live full-time in my RV in this area. Can you tell me what's available? And when you tell me, can you give me the source links for the information you get? It'll think for a little while, and it'll spit out a bunch of stuff. And you'll see, hey, there's a place in Gilbert, Arizona for $3,000, and hopefully they'll put a link. You can go to their source and see, hey, is this legit? Is there someone I can call? Is it a real estate agent? Is it a private owner? But the ChatGPT, better than just a Google search, will farm and organize the answers for you in an easily understandable way. It'll take a lot of the work of searching from you, but you're still going to end up with search results, right, that you have to dig into and verify, because I kind of laugh when people say, well, AI can be wrong. Well, yeah, so can we, and so could Google searches. No matter what question you try to answer and what methodology you use to answer the question, if you don't check out thoroughly where the answer's coming from, it can be wrong. You could do the perfect Google search, but if the websites are giving you bad information, and a lot of them do, you just got to be careful. I mean, for good or for bad, ChatGPT uses a lot of social media resources, and social media resources are notoriously inaccurate. So, if you see something, ChatGPT gives you a great answer on something, you're all excited about it, be sure to ask for the sources, because if you see Facebook, there were quite a few people on my Quartzsite videos telling me the BLM has announced they're raising it to $600. It's a done deal. Well, they're getting that information because they're typing it into AI, and AI is telling them, "Yep, it's up to $600." And because I did it, I was like, "Where are they getting this from?" So I did an experiment, and I typed it into ChatGPT, and sure enough, it came back and said, "Yeah, the rates are now $600 a season, and up from $180 in Quartzsite, in the LTVAs at Quartzsite." And I asked for the reference, and it was Facebook. You go to a BLM site, an official site, no, it's not true. So, you just have to be cautious, as you need to be cautious with every information source that you get. We did get into town here. So what do you think the odds are that I'm going to get the exact match on the screw that I want? One thing I hope that they have is they usually have these boards that have screw holes in the board, and you take your screw and you find the hole that it easily fits in, and that gives you the size, because I have no way of knowing the size. And then the length, I guess you can just, it's easier to measure. So it could be that maybe the best I do is they have one of those boards and I figure out what the exact size of the screw is, and maybe online I can get it. We'll see. We'll let you know. So what's your bet? Am I going to end up empty-handed? Well, let's say, am I going to end up with a screw, or am I going to end up with just narrowing down the size, or am I going to end up with nothing? What's your bet before we get there? Because we're about to get there pretty darn soon here. And my usual, I love my downtowns, don't I? Especially my small town downtowns. There's the Wellhead restaurant on the right there. I'm blocking a little bit of it, but it's got that black awning there. I really want to check that place out for lunch someday. The abandoned Land of the Sun Theater on the right. And I still haven't checked out this place on the corner here. It's a Chinese buffet, and it seems very popular. There are lots of statues in town, elaborate ones that are devoted to the oil industry. And I did a video on it where I went to each and every one of them and read the signs and showed you all of them. That was from last spring. The hardware store is up on the right here pretty soon. The Schlotzsky's, I haven't been there to a Schlotzsky's in a long, long time. And there's a Wendy's. Wendy's managed to create a burger that's substantially different from every other fast food burger. And here we are. We're here, Artesia Building Supply. So we're going to pull right in here, and we're going to see what we're going to do. And I'm going to let you know. I'm going to come back and let you know. All right. I'll be right back. Well, guess what? I found exactly what I needed within a minute or two. There was those boards up on right in front of me, and I took my screw, found the right one, opened the drawer, found the right length. I spent a little extra money and got brass. Cost me like $1.21 for two, which seems like a lot of money for two little tiny screws, but what the heck? Mission accomplished. So we're gonna go. I'm sorry I'm a little distracted because I'm having to very carefully back out of here because I'm backing into potentially traffic. So we're going to go down here and do our short shopping trip. And you know what? I think that's going to be it. So do I need to go anywhere else? I don't think that I do. And I see my Fens Country Market right up ahead of me here. Right next to the Starbucks. It's been ages since I hit Starbucks. I hear there's some new things going on in Quartzsite, by the way, that I'm hearing about through the Facebook Quartzsite chatter. They're about to put the finishing touches on a Starbucks. There's going to be a Starbucks in Quartzsite now. And my mail service, Moon Mountain Mail, has moved from Moon Mountain Avenue down to West Main Street behind Silly Al's, which it used to be the secondhand store. I don't think it was the Salvation Army. I forget who sponsored it, but it was a secondhand store. They're taking that space over, and I heard they're moving in like today. So I think the parking situation will be better. Actually, let's just pull in right here. How's that? The executive spot. So then I heard about a car wash. Now, all this, I'll verify all this when I get there on December 1st. And the first thing I'll do is a tour of all the new stuff in Quartzsite. I'll be going crazy with videos when I get to Quartzsite. I'll be so excited to be there. It seems so long ago that I was there, but it was just April I left there. Yeah, April. Wow. And here we are coming into October. So I'm going to leave Dottie in here with the AC running. Don't you worry about little Dottie dog. She'll be, and it's only 73. It's 73 degrees. I could probably crack the windows, but I don't want to compromise my dog's comfort one little bit. Take a little sip of coffee, and I shall return. So as usual, I got way more stuff in the grocery store than I thought I was going to get. Well, one of the things I get a kick out of is I like having little ice cream novelties, like little ice cream sandwiches and little cones and things like that. Novelties, ice cream novelties. I like having those. And they have some products have funny names, like there's skinny popcorn, There's all sorts of ice cream products that imply they're low calorie, healthy. Well, the novelty that I got, I feel good about. I've never had it before, but I feel good that I'm gonna like it because the brand name is called Fat Boy. They don't mess around. They said we're gonna call our product Fat Boy because it's the real deal. And if you eat too many of our product, you're gonna be a fat boy. So I'll try not to eat too many. I did spend a little extra money on cat food. It was a big bag of this nice, really high premium cat food was $37. Holy crap, $37. And the big old thing of paper towels, Bounty paper towels, was about $30. What the hell? So $60 for 2 items. So I got out of there for about $120. Ouch, 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 ouch. But here we go. We get to go back into my favorite little downtown place. Gotta see a metal tower there off in the distance. That's a refinery. We have a refinery in town here. Pretty large refinery in town here. It's a constant reminder we're an oil country, which I've mentioned several times. I like that. I like it. We're an oil country. One of my favorite, currently one of my favorite streaming series is Landman, and that's Billy Bob Thornton is in that, and they're coming out with a new season. I think it breaks in November, if I have that right. But it's all about the Permian Basin, in which we're in, believe it or not. I know we're in New Mexico, but we're the tail end of the Permian Basin runs right through Artesia. It's about the oil business, and there are parts of it that are pretty educational. It's natural to think of, well, oils, that's for gas and engine oil. Well, those are just two uses of oil. Oil it's almost never ending, the number of products that oil is integral in producing. Look it up. You'll be shocked. You get a better shot of that. Well, I was gonna say you get a better look at the refinery, but there's a big old tree in the way, and I'll when we pass that tree, when we get to the intersection where we're gonna turn right, look straight ahead, and you can see the big refinery. It's funny, like every other place that I live, there's a Facebook page, or more than one, for the local community, so I keep a pretty good eye on that. I'm active in it. And every once in a while I hear newcomers say, "What's that smell? What is that smell?" And there's no overwhelming full-time smell here in Artesia, but every once in a while you'll get some stuff coming from the refinery, and people say, "Well, what do you expect? You moved into a town with a big refinery right in the middle of it." Speaking of oil, what do you think these big black train tanks are filled with? And there's the refinery, straight ahead. I'd like to take a real good look at, go slow and look at all the little small local businesses because they're easy to miss. And sometimes some of the best stuff can be found in these little local businesses. I had a key made down here on the left at a locksmith. And I like doing that only because, a locksmith, you're going to get, an accurate key. Just versus sometimes they have those machines like you can do yourself. You get home and you find out the key doesn't work because you didn't do it quite right. I'm keeping an eagle eye out. Artesia Plumbing and Heating. Looks like a day spa, a boutique. And there is ALK Locksmith on the left there. That's where I went. There's a Dodge dealer with some big pickup trucks, dualies out front there. Well, that's pretty much all the areas of interest in. I'm out of stuff to say, gang. Sorry. I'm almost home, and I will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care, and thanks for watching.